Hello everyone. I feel like the audio is probably not going to be the best on this video, but I'm not going to lie, I'm a little too lazy to go get my mic out, so we're just going to have to deal with it. I have not filmed a video in quite a long time. I've been filming like vlog clips here and there, but I just feel like I cannot keep up with them. So I wanted to just get a sit down video filmed and out there for you guys, and give you a little bit of like context into what's been going on recently and like why I haven't been able to like consistently upload. So real quick, we'll just go through some life updates. Number one, I got engaged back in June, which was a huge, exciting event. But obviously that puts you into wedding planning, which is also exciting and all of that, but it is really stressful and very busy. So that has been a lot. It's exciting, but it's also just, like I said, it's a little bit anxiety inducing. It's very stressful. So that's been going on. On top of that, this fall, I started a master's program. It's part-time, it's online, it's actually through an international university, but I have been really busy doing all of the schoolwork for that, and there's been a lot of reading involved in that. The program is a history program. If you guys know, I majored in history in undergrad, so I'm still doing history. It's just now a master's program, and I'm really happy and excited to be doing it. It's just a lot of work, it's very busy. So that, working a full-time job, still trying to have a social life, still having time to read, all of that has been a lot. That's what's been going on with me. A lot of really exciting stuff, but also just a lot of time-consuming stuff. I'm hoping to really figure out a balance soon, and hopefully that will include posting more videos. But to get back into the video flow, I wanted to make a video today just going over all of the books that I've read that I feel like I haven't talked with you guys about because I haven't been filming. The last book I feel like I talked to you guys about was Shield of Sparrows in my reading vlog that I posted. That's when I was doing the like, are these romantasy books worth the hype video. And I've read quite a few books since then, so I wanted to kind of give you, I guess, a little bit of a wrap up of all of the books that I read over the summer and into the beginning part of fall, and just let you know what I thought about them. Yeah, just, I guess, get you back up to speed with what I've been reading recently. That's what we're gonna do today, and without further ado, we'll just jump right in. The first book I read that I want to talk to you guys about is The Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley. This is kind of a sci-fi book in a way, but I would definitely describe this as like a sci-fi romance. Basically, this is about this program in, I think it's in the UK, where they go back in time and they bring people, kind of like expats, they bring them from the past to the future. Our main character, she works for this program, and her job, along with a bunch of other people, is to basically be the expats' point of contact and train them and make sure that they are comfortable in our current day and time, kind of get them up to speed on like, you know, the technology of the time, how the world works. There's a lot of really funny scenes where the male main character, Graham Gore, I love that man. There's a lot of really funny scenes where he's like figuring out how things work for the first time. So that's a really funny aspect of this. I found the writing in this book to be really well done. I really enjoyed the way that she described things. I felt like it was very unique, and you can tell that this author is just a really strong writer. So I ended up giving this book, I think, 3.5 stars. Yes, I gave this book 3.5 stars because I personally didn't feel like the plot was very well executed, but the writing was really strong. I loved the characters, but I do feel like the plot was lacking in some areas. I felt like it wasn't really consistent. Some things just didn't make sense. And sometimes I felt like we weren't even focusing on the plot at all. We were just focusing on the characters, which is fine because I loved the characters so much. There wasn't ever a point of reading this book that I wanted to put the book down. I still really recommend this book to everybody, specifically for Graham Gore. He ate down. It, like, severely. He is everything to me. I really enjoyed this book, and it's definitely a different type of book than I usually read, so a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I really enjoyed it. Okay, the next book that I wanted to mention in this video is None of This Is True by Jewell. This is a thriller. I find it really hard to describe the plot of thrillers because I feel like doing so almost immediately like gives away spoilers, but basically the very high level plot of this book is that there are two women. They're both out to dinner at a restaurant, and they're both celebrating their birthday, and they kind of run into each other or in the bathroom, and you know, they have a quick conversation. They're like, oh, we're birthday twins, whatever. And one of these women is a podcast host, and the other one she's just very quiet, and so they end up working on a podcast episode together, and you just learn a lot about these characters throughout the book, and there are so many twists and turns. It's very engaging. I listened to the audiobook, which I would totally recommend. A lot of times I do listen to the audiobook for thrillers because I find it to be more engaging that way, but I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I tend to be a little bit harsh with thrillers just because I do feel like the character development in thrillers is often lacking, and it's so plot focused that we don't connect to the characters at all, and we don't really care about them. But I didn't really feel that way about this book. I felt like the author, Jewell, did a really good job getting us, familiar with the characters and feeling like we knew who they were, and she really did a good job of establishing them as people and, what their normal life is. I really enjoyed this book, and I would totally recommend it if you're looking for a thriller for the fall time. After that, I picked up Save Me, which is the first Maxton Hall book, and I actually watched Maxton Hall on Amazon Prime. I think it was probably over a year ago at this point, and I really enjoyed it. Sometimes you just need that like Wattpad-esque story. So when I heard they were translating this book into English, I think it's originally in German, I was so excited. So I immediately ordered it when it came out, and I read this over the summer, I think. I enjoyed this book. I thought it was really entertaining. It really does feel like a Wattpad story, and there's just always something about that I will always love, because as somebody who used to read on Wattpad, there's just something nostalgic about these types of books. So I did enjoy myself with this one. I don't think it was necessarily anything revolutionary, and I had already seen the show, so I already knew the plot. But I do think it was really well done. I mean, I had a good time. I didn't want to put it down. I liked the way that it was written. Yeah, I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I would recommend this. I just don't think it's like revolutionary in any way. In this book, we're following our main character, Ruby, who attends a very prestigious private school called Maxton Hall, and you can very much tell that she perhaps does not come from the same type of money that the people who go to this school come from. So there is like a little bit of a socioeconomic divide between her and some of the other students at the school. And especially the MMC of this book, he comes from extreme wealth. And so something happens, she sees something that she's not supposed to see, and then there is kind of a little bit of blackmailing happening. And eventually, it's kind of an enemies to lovers type of situation. So that is the overall plot of the book. I also listened to at least part of this on audiobook, and I did enjoy the audiobook, so I would recommend that as well. Next, I finally picked up The Deal by Elle Kennedy. This is the first book in the Off-Campus series. It's a hockey romance. This book has been around for quite a while, and I feel like it was one of the OG book talk romance books, and I have never read it. I've had it in my possession for a long time, but I've never read it, and I just decided it was time to read it. So I read it, I enjoyed it. It was good. It was nothing crazy, but it was enjoyable. I don't necessarily love sports romances. They're not my favorite, but maybe I'll read one that will change my opinion on that very soon. Who knows? Never say never. In this book, we're following Garrett Graham, who is a hockey player on the college hockey team, and our main character, Hannah Wells. She's more nerdy, I guess. I don't know. She's just very good at school. She works hard. She keeps her head down. So it's almost kind of the jock and the, unknown girl type of romance. She agrees to help him study because he's not doing well in this class, and he needs to do well in order to stay on the hockey team. So that's kind of the premise of this book, and it's cute. It's charming. There's nothing much more to it. I enjoyed it. I think I gave this one 3 stars as well. I would recommend it, but like I said, nothing to call home about. Okay, next I read the Six of Crows duology, which I think this is just called the Six of Crows duology. This is part of the Grishaverse, which has the Shadow and Bone trilogy and also the King of Scars duology. Yes, Junie. But I haven't read any of those. This is the first that I've ever read of anything in the Grishaverse, and I really, really, really loved these books. I was not expecting to love them so much. I've had Six of Crows on my shelf for years. I actually had the hardcover version of this book when it first came out, when I think I was either in 8th grade or freshman in high school, something like that. And I had the hardcover version because it just come out, and I had that for years. And then in college, I went through this phase where I got rid of a lot of books because I just assumed that I was done with my reading era. Clearly I was wrong about that. But then recently I rebought the book. So I've known about this book, and I had it on my shelf for literally years, probably 5 or 6 years, and I never read it. And it's just crazy how it's always the books that have been sitting on your TBR for so long that end up being some of your favorite books. I rated both of these books 5 stars. I just love them so much. I feel like the found family in these books is just incredible. The characters are amazing. I really like the plot. These books are one of a kind. I would recommend these books to anybody. So in these books we follow, it's multiple POVs. So we follow this group of kind of like outcasts, I guess. But it's more of like they are criminals in a way, and they live in this city called Ketterdam, and they're part of a gang, and they get this opportunity to go do this heist. And if they do the heist and they pull it off, which this heist is like impossible, like it seems impossible to do, but if they do pull it off, they will become extremely rich, and they can all kind of live out their dream and do what they've always wanted to do. So it's just a great story. Like, it's an adventure. There's super well written relationships. The found family is there. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. I could not put these books down. I read them so quickly, and like I said, I would recommend these books to literally anybody. If you are just looking for a fun adventure, these books will do it for you. I'm obsessed with them. My favorite quote from Crooked Kingdom is, "I don't hold a grudge. I cradle it. I coddle it. I feed it fine cuts of meat and send it to the best schools. I nurture my grudges." I love that quote. Like, it's just incredible. And then my review for Crooked Kingdom was, "Found family, the friendship, the scheming, somewhere between the layers of deception and the canals of Ketterdam, Dirty Hands and his crew cemented themselves as some of my favorite characters ever written." So that tells you anything about how much I love these books. Like, the love is deep. After that, I was just really in a fantasy mood. Like, I decided to go back and read House of Sky and Breath, which I had started earlier in the year, but I never finished. And I was determined to finish it this time. I think I had only gotten like 200 pages into the book, which is literally only like this much into the book, so I had quite a lot to finish, and I just sat down for a good week and spent some time reading it. I also listened to the audiobook for this one as well. The audiobook is amazing. I love Sarah J. Maas's audiobook narrator. I think her name's like Elizabeth Evans. She's like my favorite audiobook narrator. I think she does such a fantastic job with these books, and I really liked this book. I can't remember what I rated it. I think I might have rated it 5 stars. Let me check. Yeah, even though this book is massive, I loved every second of it. I love how intricate the story was. I love all of the characters. This is another book that has a lot of found family. All of the characters have a specific purpose. They all have depth. They all are their own people in their own world, in their own lives. And I just love that. Sarah J. Maas does characters like nobody else. Like, she is the queen of really creating these like larger than life characters. And I just love their relationships. Like, you really feel like you're like one of them, that you're friends with these people. It's crazy. And also the ending had me absolutely gooped. I was not expecting that at all. Like, I had heard somewhere that something like that was gonna happen, but I think I had like written it off as like, oh no, like that's probably not gonna happen, because the first book and then like all the way through this book, I was like, well, I mean, it doesn't really seem like this is gonna happen or whatever. So then it kind of did take me by surprise, because I had decided that maybe people were just like lying to me about it. But yeah, the ending was crazy, and it made me want to jump into the third one like immediately. So I rated this 5 stars. It was really good. I can't really go into the plot of this one because obviously it's the second book in a series, but if you want to read Crescent City, it's basically about this world where there's lots of different fantastical creatures. There's, you know, fae, there's werewolves, there's vampires, there's mare, like mermaids, and they all kind of live in this city called Crescent City, or Lunathian. There's lots of different names for it, but this world is ruled over by the Asteri, which are these like all-powerful beings, and this is an urban fantasy, so it takes place in a more futuristic setting, and there's like technology. They all have like phones and like text each other and emails, so there's a lot of like funny things about that. And in the first book, we're kind of following our main character Bryce, who is half fae, half human, and we're following her after something tragic happens, and it's almost this mystery. It's like a kind of like a murder mystery, and so she's kind of working alongside one of the angels who kind of works for the Asteri in some way. It gets kind of complex, so you kind of have to stick with it because it's very complex, but she teams up with one of the angels and they work to solve this murder basically. So that's kind of the plot of the first book. There's a lot of other things that are going on. There's tons of side plots and subplots, and there's just so many things happening at once. It's so complex. I feel like Sarah J Maas might be a genius because this is just an absolute mammoth of a story. Like, there's so many things happening all the time. I don't even know how she kept track of it when she was writing it, but that's also like why the book just feels so amazing and like well done, is because it's so intricate. Yeah, I wouldn't just jump into this on any random Tuesday, but I would definitely, you know, if you love a high stakes, complex, intricate fantasy, this is definitely going to be for you. It's just on a completely different scale from any other fantasy book that I've ever read. So yeah, I rated that one 5 stars. And then I'm not gonna lie, I did take a little break from reading for a while because that was when my master's program began, so I didn't really have as much free time to read. Then a couple weeks ago, I finally started picking up books again, and it was September, so I was feeling very in the fall mood, and I wanted something very easy and simple to read. So I picked up The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I've been meaning to read this book for years at this point, but I feel like I always kind of forget to read the like seasonal books during the season, and then I look back and I'm like, oh, I should have read that. And usually in the fall, I'm very much in a fantasy mood, but I wasn't really in the fantasy mood because I didn't have time to be. Like, those books are just way too big to be reading at this time of year, especially with like my master's program going on. So I decided to pick this up. This is a second chance romance, and basically I think it's like almost 10 years ago, our main character, Vivi, had broken up with her boyfriend at the time. His name's Reese. Don't know how I feel about that. They broke up and she was very upset about it, obviously. And so her and her cousin, they are witches, and they were just kind of messing around and like having a girls' night. And they accidentally put a curse on him. Then like in the future, he has to come back to this town, and she still lives there, obviously. And when he comes back into town, a lot of bad things start happening, and she's like, oh no, is this the curse? And so they're kind of working out how they're gonna handle this. And along the way, feelings start to come up again. So it's really cute. It's really short and sweet. It's very fall. It definitely scratched that itch for me for like a fall read. And I ended up rating this one 3 stars. Again, I didn't really think it was anything like revolutionary, but I did really enjoy it, and I would recommend it. After I read The Ex-Hex, I was just very much in the fall rom-com, fall romance mood. So I finally picked up The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I read The Christmas Tree Farm last year around the holidays, and it was okay. Like, I think I gave it like 3 stars. Like, it was like whatever. It was nothing crazy. I kind of felt the same way about this one. In this one, we're following our main character, Jeannie, who her aunt gives her the Pumpkin Spice Cafe in this town of Dream Harbor. So she moves there, and she's kind of figuring out how to run this cafe. And you figure out that she's kind of going through a lot. She's like trying to figure out what her life is, basically. And she meets Logan, who's a local farmer, and he's very helpful and is like helping her with all of her problems and everything like that. He's very quiet. He doesn't want attention from the town. So there is that element to it. Like, when they start, you know, having feelings for each other and whatever, the conflict is really more of like, they don't want people to know about it. He's being helpful, and they kind of start to have feelings for each other, and things happen from there. I wouldn't really say there's a plot to this story. It's very much just vibes, but the vibes are very strong. So yeah, I think I rated this 2.75 stars actually, because I mean, I just felt like it could have been done a little bit better. Like, there was just certain things that I was just kind of like, I don't like that. So anyways, it was definitely a seasonal read, and I don't know if I would recommend it, but the vibes were there. And then my most recent book that I finished is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. This, I believe, is a new release, and I am obsessed with this book. Like, this is literally fall in a book, but it's done so well. Like, these characters feel real to me, and I just loved this story so much. It takes place in 1997, I believe, and it very much has that like fall, small town, 90s vibe to it, and I love it. I love the characters. It's a single dad trope. Sue me. I love the single dad trope. I love it. I don't know why, I just do. Female main character is very like straight-laced and a little, like, she comes off a little uptight, but it's very much just like she has a lot of responsibility on her shoulders. And so she has come to the town of Copper Run to take over and kind of run her mom and dad's inn because her mom recently passed away, and her sister is finishing her degree, and her sister is eventually supposed to be the one to come take over the inn, but she hasn't finished her program yet, so she has to wait until she graduates. So in the meantime, our main character, she comes to take over the inn. And while she's there, she meets her neighbor, Cliff, who has 2 daughters, and they form a friendship. And this is my favorite type of romance because it's a little bit of a slow burn. I think the problems that they face are very realistic. I don't know. I just love it. I love it. I ate it up. This is the type of book that I would read over and over and over again. Like, it's very much giving Gilmore Girls vibe in the best way ever. And I just think it was really well done and I loved every second of it. I 100% with my whole heart and soul and chest recommend this book if you are looking for a fun fall seasonal read. I just love it. I just thought it was everything. And I wish I could read it again for the first time. And I'm really bummed out that I can't. But yeah, I rated this 5 stars, if you can't tell. I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. So those are all of the books that I've read since we last talked. I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight into what I've been up to, what I've been reading, what I've been liking, what I've been loving, everything in between. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And hopefully I'll be back soon with some more vlog content and some other book content things. And I just gotta get my feet under me with this master's program, and then hopefully we'll be back on schedule. So thanks for sticking with me and bearing with me through all of this. And I will talk to you guys hopefully very soon in my next video.